By TD Ameritrade.
Live from the financial capital of the world, you're watching Squawk on the Street, where the opening bell is set to ring in 30 seconds. Let's bring the brain in from Global HQ. Got some thoughts about Walmart, which, of course, he knows more about than just about anybody.
Well, not more than the guests we just had. I thought there were interesting comments. The law of large numbers, Mark, seems to catch up to a lot of companies. Dell comes to mind, which is also a feature this morning. Same thing. Sticking with a growth rate target through the years, it gets harder and harder to meet as you get bigger and bigger.
All right, thank you, David. And by the way, I refuse to believe anyone knows more about Walmart than you do. There are the opening bells at the NASDAQ, Newport Corporation, ticker NEWP, bringing in the new session. Here at the big board, the NYSE Teachers Workshop Program, bringing in the new session. A lot of news going on, but the big story, Aaron, is the inflation numbers, very tame, market up, very strong.
One thing to let you know before we go to our market reporters, we got a new ticker for Harley Davidson today. It used to be HDI.
Now it's HOG?
That's right.
All right.
Giddy up, hogs. All right, our market reporters standing by. Let's go to Bob Pisani right here at the NYSE. Bob.
And we've got a busy open, and it's a good thing. We're going to need a lot of movement around here on the floor this morning. Futures went out up 11 points. That is a rarity, folks. We haven't seen those kinds of numbers in a while. And what you heard Mark talking about, that benign PPI. There's another reason, though, that things are moving so strongly here. A lot of people are on the sidelines. They're out of the market. Did you see what Merrill Lynch here in their survey said this morning? Cash levels at an all-time high. That means people are on the sidelines. So all of a sudden, you get this terrific benign inflation reports. People are sitting on the sidelines saying, uh-oh, I might have to get back in here. And that's what's going on. It's a rush to get back in here. Optimism on stocks drops to two-year low, Merrill Lynch Fund survey says. Everybody's bearish. All of a sudden, you get a great bullish inflation report. Suddenly, everybody's got to get in. That's what's going around. A little shift in sentiment. Now, a big news will happen if the CPI is really benign tomorrow. If that happens, now you got a real rally. If it's not, you could give back a lot of these gains. That may temper some of these moves here today. Let's talk a little bit about some stocks moving. The retailers have come in. We've talked about Walmart this morning. By and large, they maintained their guidance. It was a bit below some of the analysts' expectations. It's down 2%. They did have that phrase in there. They were disappointed by the second quarter sales. Home Depot also was very cautious. Specifically, they talked about the mixed economic signals. Home Depot is to the upside here. Remember, the numbers up until now have been pretty good for most of the other retailers. Target, Federated, Dillard's yesterday generally had pretty good commentary overall. Let's talk a little bit about Altria, because here's Altria. We're waiting for Altria to open here. $80.56 is where it went out yesterday. It's going to open to the upside here. Morgan Stanley told their clients this morning, Altria board will most likely boost the dividend at their scheduled meeting at the end of the month, and they will most likely not announce a Kraft spinoff. Not. Altria probably open to the upside, Kraft slightly to the downside. Scott Wapner is always over at the NASDAQ. Scott?
That's right, Bob. Thanks so much. And folks, if you were expecting a big sell-off in Dell, take a look at that. That's green, not red. And that's the way it's been all morning long. The stock is up 1.5% this morning. And if you look at the other players involved in this battery issue, remember Dell recalling all of these batteries. Well, Apple also uses them. They're investigating the issue. Hewlett-Packard uses the same ones, said there is no impact on its business. And all three of these stocks are up this morning. I would call that somewhat of a surprise, and perhaps investors viewing this issue as maybe not all that bad. And listening to what Michael Dell was saying over in Singapore when he said this would not have any material impact on Dell's business. As you take a look at what this stock has done over the past year, down almost 50%. I believe it's 47% or something like that, as you can see the slide right there. Also want to talk about Google. It is up almost $5 this morning, introducing a new service to let businesses offer printable coupons to consumers in their local areas through Google Maps. Pretty cool, and that stock is higher on that news. NetEase is a Chinese online game operator. Profits up 29%, but the company giving a cautious outlook for the third quarter, saying they expect little to no growth or perhaps even a slight decline. And that stock is getting pounded down almost 10% this morning. Finally, I'll end on American Eagle because retailers are reporting it is up almost 3%. Profits up 24% on strong sales of warm weather apparel. I'll send it downtown now to Sharon Epperson at the NYMEX. Hey, Sharon.
Hey, Scott. Well, crude prices have turned positive in the